For this week's Philosophy Friday, I want to cover 5 big philosophical myths that seem to pop up a lot with calisthenics workout programs. The first of these myths is that reps are king. This notion that all you need to do is more push-ups, more pull-ups, or more time under tension. Reps and time under tension is important, but it's only one variable. Like my table of progressive elements, time is one of 9 things you can use to progress. But if we focus too much on just getting more reps at any cost, we can compromise a bunch of other qualities, and the quality of our training goes downhill even if the numbers in the workout log are going up. I recommend having a comfortable rep range that seems to suit you best, and then adjusting the difficulty of your techniques to fit that rep range. For me, this is 5 to 10 repetitions. So I adjust so I'm using difficult exercises so that I'm getting an adequate workout within that rep range. Workout philosophy number 2, you don't need a workout schedule and you don't need a home gym. Sure, calisthenics can be done anytime, any place, but that doesn't mean that having a lack of structure in your workouts is any less important. You still want to have a schedule of a routine. Take a calendar, 7 days out of the week, write down each day, what are you going to do for that day for your workout and how are you going to do it? Well, you certainly don't need a calisthenics gym like the Bodyweight Master. You do want to still have some area in your home or a park that you feel very comfortable. You can focus your mind and intentions on getting the best training possible. The third calisthenics programming myth is this idea of strength workouts versus skill exercises. The neat thing about calisthenics training is that all exercises work everything. Everything works: balance, stability, endurance, strength, coordination. Everything works everything. But when we focus our mind too much on, oh no, that's a skill move, I'm only interested in strength, so there's no value in it for me. Or I'm only interested in athleticism, so something like heavy dips has no value for me. We're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Well, you certainly want to emphasize the exercises that place more, emphasis on the qualities that you want to develop. That doesn't mean that things that seemingly have different emphasis don't have their value. So experiment with various exercises, both on so-called strength and skill levels, because you never know when you're going to find that one exercise that's going to click for you and work like magic. The fourth philosophical idea that can hamper your calisthenics training is this emphasis on various minute parts of the body. Common examples are, how do I emphasize my upper traps, or how do I emphasize a certain part of my chest or biceps or quadriceps with basic calisthenics exercises. This is a philosophical idea holdover from bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, of course, the sport where you have to optimize the balance and proportions of your physique as well as possible to compete. And we've invented bodybuilding equipment, we've invented bodybuilding exercises that can kind of hone in on these little areas to make that happen. Calisthenics largely doesn't have this, mostly because it doesn't need it. We're not trying to get our chest in perfect 100% minute proportion from one area to the other, but also because calisthenics is much more holistic. Every push-up and pressing move you do should work the entire chest, not have focused areas of intensity. So use as much of your muscle as possible. Again, calisthenics works everything. So every pushing move you're doing, use the whole chest. Flood the tension into as much area as possible, and you'll find that you don't have a need to focus on these little tiny areas. And the final myth that holds a lot of people back is this notion that a workout only counts once you've passed some sort of quantifiable metric. I used to do this all the time. I used to think a workout will only burn fat and build endurance and is only worthwhile if it's at least an hour long. Or when I got into strength training, I had to get at least 5 sets of an exercise in order to build muscle. Knowing this is incredibly important to keep your workouts flexible. Flexible workout approaches are key for long-term adherence. But when we think it's only worth it if I can do 100 reps or work out for a solid hour, then what do we do when we don't have the time, the energy, or the motivation to put in that kind of metric? We usually end up just giving up the whole thing and our continuity gets disrupted. But always remember, there's no such thing as an ineffective rep or set or any amount of physical activity. Everything you do, even getting down and doing one push-up, still does at least a little bit. At the same time, you don't want to think that crossing that imaginary metric is the only thing that's responsible for results. Again, I used to think, well, if I work out for an hour, that makes it automatically, magically effective because I crossed the 60-minute barrier. Never mind the fact that my technique sucked, my programming sucked, and what I was doing was just terrible. I thought, well, as long as it's an hour, it's going to be effective. So it's good to have a goal to go after a certain metric, but don't make that the be-all, end-all of what you have to do or what qualifies your workout as being effective. Look at other things about the quality of your workouts and get in what you can get in if you can't get to that metric. So what are some of the biggest calisthenics and workout programming myths that you've come across that you'd like to please share with the RDP community down below? If you have any questions as well, drop them down in the comment section. Till then, be fit, live free.